Hey there. So, this is the 20-gallon tall tank that a few days ago I made a video of the reseal process. However, it still has a janky old busted lower rim, and the upper rim has been removed. That's not the rim, that's just Gorilla Tape. I measured the wood that's going to be going around as a replacement material for the top rim and for the lower rim. Came to 2 centimeters on the inside, so I marked on this glass at several points where the 2 centimeter mark was at each corner and about halfway through the long side, the front and back, and went around and literally just wrapped Gorilla Tape. The reason I used Gorilla Tape is because, like duct tape, it's got like a woven structure in here. In other words, it's strong. This isn't like painter's tape or packaging tape or something like that. It's a strong material. So, it also being sticky, I just wrapped it around. Gave it a nice little overlap of about this much material. I think I started here, wrapped around, and then cut it at this point. Once it was all around, I simply took one of my old razor blades and went around slicing it off. So why that stuff? Because this is pretty darn strong when it comes to keeping the glass from pushing apart. This water, when this is filled with 20 gallons of water, it's going to have outward pressure. That outward pressure is why tanks leak. So we need to have something that can hold it together in the place where this upper rim was. And if you'll give me just a moment, I'll pull out some materials and show you how we're going to make the upper and lower rim. Okie dokie. I have turned this tank up on its edge, and literally this lower rim's already trying to fall off. So, whatever. I'll just take that off. Next step is going to be going around and cleaning the outside of the bottom rim, scraping the silicone off of the bottom edge, marking it at 2 centimeters again. Now this is the wooden trim that I'm using to make my rim. I'll show you what it looks like if you didn't see the last video. There's still dirt up here that I need to wipe away, but this is a hand-built lower wooden rim, painted black and then sealed with clear polyurethane, and then a little wipe of silicone along the edge. That's how we seal this to make sure water isn't going to penetrate or degrade that wood over a period of time. So let's look back down to my junk pile, see what's going on down here. Wooden rim, we don't need that. We'll be removing all of this outer silicone, which was just how the original manufacturer glued the wooden rim to the glass. Or sorry, they glued the plastic rim to the glass like this. And we're going to be gluing the wooden rim to the glass in a very similar method. But first, like the top, I'm going to wrap it with 2 centimeters of Gorilla Tape for structure, because my wooden structure isn't going to be a single piece like this was originally. And you see it's split. When I make 45-degree cuts through this wood with this miter saw or compound miter, whatever you want to call it, these bits of wood are just going to be glued together. And structurally, that's not a lot different than having 4 different bits of plastic instead of 1 as it was intended. That's why we wrap it with the tape, to give it structural integrity, not to make it look weird or funny or spend extra money. That part is structure. This is weak, obviously. Why is it weak? Probably because it was mishandled and old and, oh yeah, there we go. Just a little twist and it came off. So, give me a bit. I'm going to cut some pieces of wood, scrape some silicone off the glass, and I'll show you what it looks like in a bit. Okay, back to the silicone scraping part. Try not to cut your fingers off. Just a, loose recommendation. Do what you want, but this is a part that should seem pretty familiar to those of you who have resealed a tank. But remember, we've already resealed this tank. This one is just getting re-rimmed. Plastic rim tank, so we're scraping the outside, removing the silicone, such that when we add new silicone, the new silicone will stick. Because, as I've mentioned before in other videos, fresh silicone that's curing won't stick to old dried silicone. It just won't. It's not a sticky substance, or at least those surfaces. There's not going to be cohesion between those two groups. So we get some of this stuff peeled and scraped, and I don't know why it's just like extra hard today to get this off. It's trying to be difficult for video purposes, just to show that things don't go peachy keen in the world of TV land. All the same, I'm going to be going around the entirety of the outside of the tank like this. And I'm just doing the lower rim right now. I've already removed the upper rim. I've already put my Gorilla Tape, duct tape will work as well, on the outside of the upper rim. What I'm doing right now is making it such that I can do exactly the same thing for the lower rim. So I'll be going around, scraping it, cleaning it, removing all of that stuff, adding my Gorilla Tape, and then moving on to this stuff and the chop saw. Hey, at this point, it's about 4 or 5 minutes later. I have gone around and scraped the silicone from the outside of the glass. This is the silicone that was just holding the lower plastic rim together. Whatever. It's old. It's gone now. At this point, I've got acetone on a paper towel, clean, and I'm going to go around and start wiping this, because very shortly I'm going to be wrapping the lower 2 centimeters of the outside with that Gorilla Tape right there for structure. And that's what this is for. Remove the dirt, remove a little bit of film, from the old silicone, and get it clean for tape. Cool. Next important part. I mentioned that I was leaving 2 centimeters of tape. Can you now see why I'm putting 2 centimeters of tape there? If that doesn't make sense, I'll show you. Let's transfer this over. I'm going to be putting dots with my black Sharpie at the 2 centimeter mark around this, and then I'll join back and show you why. They're very faint, but you can see I've made some dots like that one all around the tank at the 2 centimeter mark. And from there, I need 2 hands to stretch the tape straight, but I'll show you what that looks like in just a moment. Okay, tape has been laid around the edges, and now this is one of the parts that I think is the most fun. You stick a razor blade in here and just start a slicing, but I think it might work better from the outside. Okay, there we go. See how nice that is? This is one of my favorite parts. Also, be careful at this phase. The edge of the glass, if you run your finger, edge of a finger, thumb, hand, whatever, too close to this, it will slice you. Dang, I had a finger that was just sliced. Whatever, I can't find what finger I just sliced. Yesterday or the day before, I was bleeding a little bit from this exact process. So do be careful. I definitely need another hand to do this properly, so bear with me, pausing again. So that was nice and quick. I didn't slice myself this round, and you can see just by running the razor blade along the glass, just laying it flat against the glass and allowing it to guide, we have a super clean cut and a little bit more waste material. If I were being a little more economical, that is enough waste material that I could have done an upper and lower rim with one swipe of tape, but I didn't. I was a little more wasteful. So that kind of goes against my way of being. However, we're now ready to start putting wood on this. So how are we going to do that? We've got our material. This stuff, admittedly, not very cheap right now. I think I gave like $40 for two like 10-foot sticks of this stuff. Maybe they were 12, but not super cheap right now. Saw, also not super cheap right now. I have it set to 45 degrees, and it doesn't really matter where I'm going to begin. I'm just going to find an edge or a corner that doesn't look great. This one's been nicked a little bit. So this is going to be a lower edge. That will probably be the outside, and I'm going to cut 45 degrees off of this. So I'll show you that, and then we'll start measuring out and marking our cuts. From here, it's basically woodwork. So, I could show you a lot more video, but it might not help. I'm going to begin cutting these at 45s and then gluing them with the 100% silicone onto this. Once I've got them on here, I'm going to paint the wood black. It's probably going to take maybe 2 or 3 coats of black paint before I'm happy with what the finish will look like. And then I will seal it with polyurethane, I think is what I'm using. Yeah, polyurethane. And along the edge, as I showed you on this other tank, I'll wipe a little bit of silicone in here so water can't drip in between the rim and start affecting the quality of the build. So that's sort of what we got. It's time to start making a lot of noise with the saw, cut some wood, throw some sawdust, make a big mess, and let Eufy clean it up for me. Anyway, I'll show you a finished product in the next video. Thanks, guys.